welcome to the show. It's your girl Wanjeri on African Crown, and today I'm gonna be finishing up my braids. I have done the back, as you can see, and now I just want to work on the front, and that's why I left these two, just to show you how I get this done. Today I want to be using the sister braid, the one I used last time, and it's just, you know, the usual normal standard kind of braids, and I'm just gonna be braiding it. I've already divided this into two, so I don't have to part it again. So I'll start with this side and then go on to that side, and I'll mostly be using my formula. As I told you before, I have this amazing butter that's going to be coming out soon, and it's basically an all organic butter that's really nourishing for your hair. And I'll also be using Eco Styler Gel, the black castor and flaxseed oil, so that should be good to just make sure the hair is smooth and everything just incorporates well, to ensure that the braids come out looking nice and smooth, and you know, it just looks nice basically. So yeah, and as always, as I'm doing my hair, there's always a topic. So I went on Google and I just typed in South African students sent home due to natural hair, because I had watched some videos online and people talking about in South Africa, girls being sent home, some girls being sent home because of their African hair. So the question is, South Africa is in Africa, last time I checked. So why would anyone be sending a girl home because of how their hair grows naturally? And who even makes these laws? Who makes these policies? Who makes these guidelines for schools? Who makes these school rules? You know, is this national? Is it private institutions? Who's making these rules? So basically, I'm online and reading this article by The Guardian as well. And it's like article after article about these girls. Like, for example, this one by The Guardian. South African student speaks out against aggressive ban on Afro hair. Like, seriously, man, this is in Africa. Like, even wherever it is, even if it's in America or Jamaica or wherever it is, why should anyone feel that their hair is less than, or their hair is not allowed in the school? If your hair grows out like this, you know what I mean? Like, look at my hair. It's a bit wet right now, but this is my hair. This is my hair in its wet state, right? That's my hair. That's how it grows out. This is how it is naturally. So what do you want me to do with it? It grows out of my head like this. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so let's just read the article. South African student speaks out against aggressive ban on Afro hair. Students describe prejudice at prestigious Pretoria school, where natural hair was deemed untidy and unladylike. So your hair grows out of your head like this, and then someone is gonna tell me that how my hair grows out of my head is untidy and unladylike. What in South Africa, which happens to be in my continent of Africa? Yo, you better change these rules. You better change these rules, because trust me, at some point they have to go. You know, slavery and colonialism, all that happened. It happened. It happened to us. And we are still facing the side effects of it. And these are the side effects of it. Because you can't tell me this is not prejudicial. You can't tell me that this is not discrimination based on hair texture. Oh my gosh. Her name is Malaika. Oh, I love that name. Malaika Maoa Eloy, a 17-year-old student at the prestigious Pretoria High School for Girls, remembers the first time she was told by a teacher that her afro was distracting others from learning. Distracting. So, how my hair goes out of my head is distracting. No, before I continue reading, let me just start braiding my hair before I get more pissed off. So, as I told you, I'm going to be using sister braid. But this article, and many like them, are so disturbing. They're so, it's annoying to read, you know? It's so annoying. And you know, I know some people out there like, oh no, no one worries, no one cares about hair texture, you know, no one cares about colorism, no one cares about, you know, just do what you want to do, just braid your hair the way you want to braid it. And then you read this. Then you go for job interviews and people look at you like, why does your hair look like that? Why can't you make your hair straight? My hair doesn't grow straight. Okay? And yes, sometimes I'm gonna put a straight weave if I feel like. I'm gonna braid it if I feel like. But for the most part, this is my hair. This is it. This is it. So you better get used to it. Media houses, you need to start putting this in the videos. Musicians, I've seen a lot of African musicians putting in, you know, women that look like themselves in the video these days. Even before, but now it's more, I think, because of the whole movement and people really questioning them about their choices of who they put in their videos. But more and more now it's becoming like, you know, people are watching, so you better choose wisely who's getting into your video. Because if everyone in your video has hair that doesn't look like it could have ever gone out of their scalp, then, you know, people are going to be looking at you sideways. So let me just show you how to do this hair before I even go back to that article. So you basically take some hair. I've just put some oil in it. So you put some oil in that hair. I hope you can see that. And then you get your Eco Styler. And then you put your Eco Styler in there. And then what you want to do is take your finger, yeah, and put your hair, let your hair go around your finger. Just twist it around like that. And then take your braid and take it around that finger, the finger that has the hair. So this is how I just ensure that it's kept firmly in place, just to make sure the other hair doesn't get involved with this hair, this particular strands. So once you've done that, then you slowly begin to untwist the hair from the finger as you blend it in with the rest of the hair. So yeah, so that's it. So once it's in there, then now you twist. You can keep adding some more of your butter and some more of your Eco Styler as you go, just to make sure it's smooth all the way. So you do that and keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. So basically this article is so disturbing. So then, excuse me, so then they go on to say, she said the comment was aggressive and made her feel really scared to come to school. Fear. A child fears going to school because of how they're going to be judged, because of how their hair grows out of their scalp. She can't change how her hair grows out of her scalp. And it's not happening in the 50s, time of segregation or time of, you know, slavery or Jim Crow, or this is not happening in time of colonization or just after. This is, when, let me even see the date of this article. August 2016. So that's how she felt. And, you know, there was this huge media outcry saying, oh my gosh, how would this happen? So then she said, yeah, she said the comment was aggressive and made her feel really scared to come to school. With her hair now braided, like what I'm doing right now, Ao was one of more than 100 young women to protest against the school for allegedly forcing black students to straighten their hair. So some of you are thinking, yo, this is 2016, things have changed since then. Wait, I'm going to show you more articles of 2019 and you see that this hasn't changed. We're still being discriminated based on how our hair naturally grows out of our scalps. So let's continue reading. There was a lot of emotions because the last 5 years of our high school students' careers had built up to this, said Ao. After the march, it blew up a lot faster and harder than we thought it would, she added. Images of the protest went viral in South Africa, and an online petition against the alleged hair policy gathered more than 10,000 signatures after it was created on Friday. In response, Panyaza Lisufi, the head of education in Gauteng province, had ordered an independent audit of the school to investigate all the claims of racism. Claims of racism. Like, this is even more disturbing. You know what I mean? It's not just about colorism or texturism. Now we're getting into racism. The code of conduct is insensitive to different people and discriminates badly against black pupils as it asks them to straighten their hair. This is in South Africa. South Africa. And I keep mentioning this part, Africa. It's in my continent of Africa. Lesufi said on Tuesday that is not fair because some peoples have naturally curly hair. Obviously, it's like asking, for you to come into this school, you must have purple skin. My color of my skin is not purple. It's black. It's beautiful chocolate brown. I'm a black woman. This is me. So I cannot come to school looking color purple because that is not my color. Telling me to straighten my hair. Lesufi said on Tuesday, that is not fair because some peoples have naturally curly hair. So we have agreed with the student government body that is to be suspended. Political parties have jumped on the issue, with the ANC Women's League and Democratic Alliance issuing statements denouncing the alleged policy. The Economic Freedom Fighters Party accused the students of seeking to directly suppress blackness in its aesthetics and culture. This is from The Guardian, by the way. This is The Guardian writing all this. And then it says, I'm still angry. Ayo, sitting with her friend Palesa Sidibe 2 days after the protest, said the pair could recall many instances of discrimination over the past few years. This heading says, racism row over South Africa's school's alleged hair policy. Pupils at Pretoria High School for girls say they were forced to chemically straighten their hair and now have untidy and not have untidy afros. Now, this is 2017. Yeah? 2017 says, Times Black Girl Elite Daily says, black girls are still being discriminated against for wearing the natural hair the way it grows from their heads. Not only are they asked to change their hair to fit mainstream standards, but they often have their education threatened when they refuse to conform, from having their class sessions interrupted to being threatened with suspension or expulsion. School officials can't seem to stop obsessing over black girls' hair. That's 2017. So some of you are saying, oh, that's 2016, 2017, things have changed. We'll keep going through these things until you guys see that this is not trivial. This is not, okay, just palm the girl's hair and everything. Why should they? Why should they chemically change the natural pattern of their hair just to please some... I don't even know who they're trying to please, because it's very, 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 very sad. I remember when I was in school, we also had to have our hair looking neat, but no one ever asked us to palm our hair. No one ever asked us to do that. Ever. Because I remember I had cut my hair, I had my hair in its natural state, then I had it permed. Yes, there was some pressure to perm it, I remember, but that was like, it was fashion, and it symbolized, like, you know, you're in the it crowd, you know, your hair is straight. And then I never knew then that it was social pressure, which is not even related with, I never knew then exactly what it was. I just knew it was cool to have straight hair and to have it either blow dried or permed. But if I ever went with my natural hair to school, nobody would tell me that's not allowed. That never ever happened to me, you know. And oh, it's just sad. So the article goes on to say, here are a few times that this racist hair obsession got in the way of a kid's education. A Boston chapter school threatened detention and suspension for black girls wearing box braids. That's in Malden Charter School served up detention slips to 2 students for wearing box braids, reports the Boston Globe. The 15-year-old twins, Dylan and Maya Short, were also pulled from their school sports team and told they were allowed to go to prom. And told they weren't allowed to go to prom because of hair. God in heaven. This is the situation the school made about the decision, according to CBS. The special prohibition of hair extensions, which are expensive and could serve as a differentiating factor between students from dissimilar social economic backgrounds, is consistent with our desire to create an educational environment, one that celebrates all the students have in common and minimize material differences and distractions. How much are braids? Braids do not, oh my, let's talk about braids now, because they're talking about money here. Braids can go for less than £1 for a pack of braids. So I don't know what they're talking about here, and they talk about social economic backgrounds and all this. No. We've had braids in Africa for the longest. Maasai men still braiding their hair. We have tribes in Africa for thousands of years braiding their hair. So I have no idea what they mean by social economic, because even when we didn't have this money currency, we were still braiding our hair. So that doesn't make sense to me. The school pointing towards the hairstyle being expensive would be halfway understandable if it were accurate. Sure, there are some braiding salons that charge between $100 and $200 for the look. Look at me, I'm doing my own hair. So they don't have to go to the salon. The mothers could be doing the hair, but you can't say that they can't go to school with braids. But since braiding hair is a historic style, exactly, within our community, you can't really go too far without finding a black girl who can and will braid her hair in her living room or kitchen. That's exactly what funny thing is, I'm reading this and it's my first time reading this. It's just interesting. It's coinciding with what I'm saying. In her living room or kitchen for a much lower price. Do it yourself. You know, and then there are the black girls who can braid their own hair. I would know. I've stood in my mirror for hours, there you go, putting in hundreds of micro braids just because I couldn't afford to go to a salon. Okay. We should also point out the cost of the braids hair itself. It sells for as little as $2 a pack. Okay. I don't know how this is working telepathically, but this article is just going on with what I'm saying. Okay. Let's keep reading. Oh my gosh. Okay. Number 2, a South African all-girls school put restrictions on students with natural hair. According to the Washington Post, students at the Pretoria High School for Girls were told to fix their hair if they were wearing it in its natural state. What does that even mean? So if my hair is natural, I should not fix it. To what? To a natural? Sure. Really? It's 2019. It's 2019. We've gone to the moon, come back. We have smartphones. We can record movies from comfort of our rooms, make shows on YouTube. We have bullet trains. We have it's 2019. You're telling me Or, no. Fix their hair if they were wearing it natural. Cornrows, dreadlocks, and loose braids also had diameter restrictions. Oh my goodness. The girls held a protest on campus grounds. This is just crazy. One 15-year-old student told the newspaper, they go around posting signs about the ethos of equality for all the girls at the school. But that is not true. It feels like they don't want to accept the fact that we are African. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And the reason why I'm reading this like for the first time with you guys is just so that you can see that the way you're shocked is the way I'm shocked. Because I know it's a problem. I know it's there. But just reading this is just scary. This girl is saying, it feels like they don't want to accept the fact that we are African. This is happening in South Africa. You know, I just had to pause there for a minute because it's making me sweat. It's making me shiver. It's like, what? How do you not feel African in Africa? How do you not feel African in Africa? This is home. This is home. You have to feel at home. The natural hair rules were suspended, pending an investigation following the protest and a petition signed by over 25,000 people, according to the BBC. Let me even go to the BBC article. Let's see. So the BBC News, this was August 2016, racist school hair rules suspended at Essex Pretoria Girls High School. Rules over how female students wear their hair at a South African high school have been suspended after anti-racism protests from black peoples, a local minister says. Okay, so that's BBC. Now let's go back. Then the next one is a black girl in Port Elizabeth, South Africa, was told she shouldn't take her exams. Even exams. Now they want to say you can't do exams because of hair. Lawson Brown High School told black girls with natural hair that they needed to tie their afros up to make them more beautiful. So it's not beautiful. What are they even telling? More beautiful. So don't need beauty to do an exam. To make them more beautiful, according to the African news outlet Times Live. The school principal inspected students' hair and sent those he deemed inappropriate to the school's hair committee. There's a hair committee now. Hair committee. That's where we've reached with hair. That we need a committee to discuss how my hair grows out of my head in its natural state. We need a committee. Can't you just use your eyes and see that it grows like this? Okay, let's go to the next one. A school that is supposed to be dedicated to educating and uplifting students thought it necessary to form a whole damn hair committee. Senior student Unadi I can't pronounce that name. Gonzaga. I can't pronounce it. If you can, put it in the comment section. Gonzaga was told she would not be able to take her exam until she followed the hair policy. It's embarrassing because this is, you know, I keep talking about the effects of colonization and slavery. Because a lot of people doing this are Africans. There are people who are enforcing these policies are Africans whose hair also grows like this. So you see, once you've gone through colonization and you're made to hate your culture, you're made to hate yourself, you go through self-hatred, you hate your culture, you hate your traditions, you're told your religions are evil, they're voodoo, they are bad, you know, you people just stop using your traditions, don't do any of them, they're evil, use ours. Then you internalize that. Or don't wear your sandals, wear these closed shoes in this hot place. Oh, don't wear that, you know, forget the traditional clothes, wear this suit and put that neck up in this hot African sun. So when all these things happened to us, because this is factual, colonization, slavery happened. The internalization of all of this made people begin to behave like the masters, began to behave like the same colonizer who colonized them. Now this one who's made to behave like that, or has been indoctrinated to behave like that, now dominates the others. Now this is what is happening here. He's been made to feel that his own texture or her own texture is not appropriate unless it's straight. And now they enforce these same ideologies, which were also dragged or forced into their own heads, onto these young girls. So it goes on to say, children can be defiant and are always wanting to push the boundaries. If she comes to school with her hair in the same way, we will have to see what the code of conduct states. We are looking at every aspect of the school uniform, and hair to clothing to nails. How these people cannot see that this is discrimination is beyond me. I just don't know. So it says, however, after continued pushback from the students and parents, Ken Cross said the school's dress code would be reworked. So they were like, hey, people are talking too much. Let's try and rework this thing. So number four, a third grader in Bolton, Texas, was pulled out of class for her frohawk. In 2013, a then 12-year-old Vanessa Van Dyck was being bullied about her puffy hair by classmates at Faith Christian Academy. Oh God, this is a Christian academy. You need to, you know, this has always been my thing, yeah? And I keep saying this. I keep telling you, I'm a Christian. Been raised Christian. I love God. I believe in you know, the 10 commandments, don't kill, don't steal. I believe all that. But my issue is how we see the God we worship in Africa. That is something we have to work on. Because as Africans, it's fine. We are Christians. We are, you know, we have different religions in Africa. One of them being Christianity. But no one was there when Jesus was walking this earth. No one that is here now was there then. So we don't know how he looked like. Nobody knows. Nobody took a picture to tell us how he looks like. Right? Right? So, that being the case, why is it that in most churches, especially in Africa, Jesus is white with blonde hair and blue eyes? How many Africans in Africa do you know who have straight hair, which is blonde? I'm not talking about the weave. I'm talking about growing naturally out of their heads. Blonde, straight hair, and blue eyes. How many Africans do you know who are born like that? And don't tell me about people who've bleached, born like that. I haven't seen one yet. Haven't seen anyone. I've seen some with blonde hair, but that's because, you know, Africans, some of us are different shades, some of us are albino. There's some of us who do have blonde hair, but I'm talking about blonde, straight hair, blue eyes, white skin. Nah. So, how we see our God needs to reflect us. And I'll say it again. How we see our God needs to reflect us. I've seen some churches back home. It's a Catholic church I used to go to, and the pictures of Jesus in the church showed him with an afro, and the disciples also had afros. And you see, that made me feel at home, because I'm like, yeah, he looks like me. He could be he looks like me. you know? But for the most part, that's not the case. For the most part, the images look nothing like us. And that has a way of confusing your brain. Because if that's the one you worship, that's the good, that's the almighty, that's the image of divinity for you. What do you think that does to your brain cells? Let's keep reading. In 2013, a then 12-year-old Vanessa Van Dyke was being bullied about her puffy hair by classmates in Faith Christian Academy. According to local 6 News, instead of putting a stop to the bullies, the private school suggested to her mother, Sabrina Kent, that she straighten her hair or cut it. Van Dyke was given a week to do one of the two, or she would be expelled. What a lesson from a school to teach a kid. Like, seriously. So instead of dealing with the bullies, you want to... It's about just reinforcing self-hatred in young people. It's just so sad. Natural girls in the Bahamas were told their hair is untidy, where a group of school officials pulled her aside. Her hair was untidy and didn't look like a schoolgirl hairstyle. She and other students with natural hair were told they would either have to braid their hair or put it in ponytail or be suspended. Ooh. It's just humiliating. Like, let me even just Google Kenya. You all know I'm from Kenya, right? Kenyan girls discrimination on hair. Okay, this is by the BBC. This is 30th May 2019. So I told you this stuff is still going on. So BBC News, a letter from Africa, fighting uniform hairstyle in Kenya. Okay, they begin with Lupita's picture. Some Kenyan TV presenters have been banned from having hairstyles like Kenyan actor Lupita Nyong'o. Oh God. Lupita Nyong'o is who every young girl in Kenya, if not Africa, if not the world, looks up to and says, yeah. So, okay, I don't have words. In our series of letters from the African journalist, media and communication trainer Joseph Warungu looks at the state of Kenyan hair amid a court case about discrimination on the basis of a hairstyle. Hairstyle! Let me even first do some braids before I read that article. It's just disturbing. It's disturbing. And I need to finish this hair because... And then I do this hair and then someone tells me it's... You know how long it takes to braid hair and then someone tells you it's not appropriate? No. The effects of slavery and colonization are with us right now. They're with us. The way we treat each other, the way we view each other, the way we view others. For me, I love all people of the world. All races, I love all people. But I know that a lot of damage was done to us. We have a great history. We have a great history. We've built great civilizations. Great history, but some people decided that slavery was what would happen, and some people decided colonization was what would happen, and we have suffered for it, and the side effects are what we are facing now. The self-hatred, now this discrimination based on hair. So the article says, you could hear the screams of agony from the car park. My heart was racing as I walked into the hair salon that hot Saturday afternoon, now not knowing what to expect. Propped up on a giant barber's chair was a girl of about 3. One strong woman held her down to prevent her wiggling free, while another methodically worked a blow, dried a blow dryer through her hair. Unable to bear the screaming any longer, I asked, "Where's her mom?" One of the hairdressers pointed to a woman with her head buried under a hairdryer. She and the girl's father were quietly flicking through faded copies of hairstyle magazines, seemingly oblivious to the child crying herself hoarse. As I waited for my own daughter's appointment with the hairdresser, I was deeply disturbed by the screams. Yeah, I've taken my niece to the salon, and it was me, my niece, and my sister, and whoa, I felt so bad. I really felt so bad for my niece, because I was like, I knew what was gonna happen, because you know, if you're a black person and you're female, you know what it means to scream when you're at the salon. You know what it means when they're blow drying your hair and you're running away from the blow dryer. You know that feeling. And you're being told Monday is school, so you have to get your hair done by Sunday. You know that feeling. So yeah, so the article goes on to say, as I waited for my own daughter's appointment with the hairdresser, I was deeply disturbed by the screams. Almost 3 hours later, the little girl, whom I still call baby warrior, walked out with red eyes, a distraught face, and a new head of straightened hair. She had lost the battle to keep her crunchy, kinky hair. This is the kind of expression that many, especially young girls and women, go through regularly in Kenya to conform to uniformity. Why does uniformity have to be something that would never look like us? Why does uniformity have to be something that we would never look like, even if we tried to, unless we use external forces like blow dryers, which keep us screaming on those chairs? Hey, people used to hold me down. I remember being taken to, I was like, Monday is tomorrow, that means salon is, oh no, this was just the saddest part. The Swahili proverb, akili ni nywele, kila mtu ana zake, meaning hair is like braids, each person has their own, speaks to diversity that everyone's hair is different. But in Kenya, we have been tearing our hair out, trying to have a uniform hairstyle. Conditioned to mirror the white colonialists. For one Kenyan teenager, the freedom to wear dreadlocks nearly cost her education. Woo. It's just sad. But you know, funny thing about Kenya, it's like, I think Kenya has to, because my big sister has locks. And I don't like that word dreadlock, because that dread in it is just discriminatory in itself. Because where does the word dread come from? Dread is to fear, right? Locks is, I'm locking my hair. Let's just call them locks. Because even our freedom fighters wore locks, and we are proud of our freedom fighters. So, my sister wears locks, and she goes to work every day. So if the one going to work can wear locks, why can't the student wear locks who is one day hoping to also be employed? Like, the double standards. Plus, I guess also where you work also matters and stuff. But really, it's 2019, people. This article is for 2019, like a month ago. Olympic High School in Nairobi. So, Olympic High School in Nairobi sent new student Makeda Ndinda home in January for wearing dreadlocks, which are a symbol of her Rastafarian faith. In Kenya, we have freedom of religion. So why can they, if they can allow other religions to do other things with their hair, why can't they allow... A Nairobi court has since ordered that she can attend classes with her hair covered in a black turban until her case is decided in May. The school wants her to shave off her locks. Days before, in a separate case about hair scarves worn by Muslims, the Supreme Court, whose justices ironically covered their heads with artificial hair, overturned an earlier decision by the Court of Appeal that allowed Muslim students to wear a hijab in a non-Muslim school. The court ruled that every school has the right to determine its own dress code. So what's going on with our heads? A lot. First of all, I need to own up. I don't have any hair on my head, but I do have some hairy views about freedom of expression. And hair is part of our identity and cultural expression. I think Kenya is increasingly becoming a moralist state, says Kevin Mwashiro, a writer and civil liberties activist. He blames this on the growth of evangelism from the Christian right. Mwashiro believes the debate about hair is part of Kenya's struggle with its national identity. We tend to think we are an African nation, but we realize that we are very westernized. We don't appreciate the diversity. I've had these natural dreadlocks for many years, but people still ask me why I don't comb my hair. You know what? For me, like some years back, I had locks. I had locks on my hair for, I think, 3 years. I had locks. And I loved my locks. I remember the time I shaved off my locks, it was just because, not just because, but it's because I went through something. And you know how you go through something and you're like, I need to change something about my life, and I need to do something dramatic and just, change everything. And I remember I cut them, and I cut the first one. And it was so emotional for me. So I had to like be on the phone with my good friend and mentor. And he was all the way in Migori. And so I'm talking to my mentor and I'm like, okay, I've cut one lock off. And he's like, okay. And then I cut the next one off. And then I cut. But it was so emotional for me. It took a toll because it's your hair. Your locks are your own hair, and I loved them. I loved holding them. I loved styling them. I loved taking pictures in them. I had grown them from baby locks all the way down, and I just didn't want to let them go. But I just felt I needed a change. So when someone says that she had to be told to cut off her, like, I don't agree with that. For me, it was my choice to cut them off. But it wasn't because I was being discriminated or because my employer, because of anything, nothing like that. It was a personal choice. So everyone needs to be able to keep their hair as they feel fit. If you want to cover your hair for religious reasons, I believe you should be allowed to do that. If you want to have locks on your hair for religious reasons, you should be allowed to do that. If you want to change your hair and wear weave, wear braid, wear locks, wear perm, wear your hair in an afro, however you wish to express yourself should be allowed. So these things are just annoying. So then the article, this is the BBC, by the way, BBC article goes on to say, the kinky and straight hair battles that Baby Warrior fought at the salon came from our colonial experience. The African was conditioned to mirror the white colonialists in speech, look, and behavior. As you can tell, I'm speaking English right now. I'm not speaking Swahili or Kikuyu. Like, how far does the colonization go that even our outward experience? That's why I keep telling y'all, colonization haijatuacha. It hasn't, the effects of colonization have not gone. We're still facing them. And we need to fight, like it's a mental battle that we have to win. So the article goes on to say, braiding was banned. African women, pioneers at university, went through systematic training on how to dress and how to use knives and forks. They were even taught how to curtsy beautifully in case the British monarch came to visit. Rose Lucalo, a media producer, had a direct encounter with the colonial experience that spilled over into independent Kenya. I was raised in Nairobi in post-colonial Kenya, and most teachers were still white. We were not allowed to braid our hair. We were told we should tie it with blue or red ribbons and that we should brush our hair. But kinky African hair struggled to comply with these foreign concepts. Trust me, my hair does not understand that language of straights. Doesn't know what that is. And so in came the hot comb. Whew, that stuff is bad. Perm, ouch. Perm can, I remember a time my hair was permed. You know how you permed and then, because you want it to be as straight as possible, so unashikilia, like you're just like, yes, your hair is on fire, but you're like, 2 more seconds, hold it, you know, like in that Malcolm X movie by what's his name? I have to know his name. What's his name? The most handsome African American man actor in the world. What's his name? He acted Malcolm X. Denzel Washington. Oh, you know how Denzel looks good. Okay, let's focus. Now, Denzel Washington was acting that movie as Malcolm X, and then he was getting a perm, and then his hair was on fire, but he had to wait a bit for the hair to like really get straight before he washes it off, and then he had to stick his hand. Okay, that's a whole other movie thing, but anyway, my point is, perm is painful. So it says perm and the hot iron to try to tame the African hair. This was all done at home with a charcoal stove because very few people could afford the salon. As a little boy growing up in the village in the 60s, I remember messing around with my mom's hot comb in Disastrous Effect, a burned scalp which had to be camouflaged with maize flour to avoid worse pain that would be inflicted on my backside should she discover what I had been up to. 56 years after independence, we have failed to completely shake off the constructed identity we inherited as a nation and continue to insist that the African hair conform to alien norms. Not too long ago, the management of the national TV station sent a memo to female presenters saying they should not wear the Kenyan Hollywood star Lupita Nyong'o's look or natural hairstyles. This is so sad. I love Lupita. Every Kenyan loves Lupita. This is so sad. You know, when she comes home, because I was in Nairobi when she came home, and it was like Obama had showed up, because there was like police, she had a motorcade, there was security, you couldn't even, I remember she was like this far, like she was like 2 people away from me, and I was like, Lupita, and she turned and looked at me, but the amount of bodyguards between the 2 of us, she could only wave and smile, and for me that was enough. But the point is, Lupita, you want to say that her hair, do you know, we love Lupita's hair. Lupita, if you're watching this, we love your hair. This is nonsense. They had to have hair extensions. They have to have hair extensions on air. So now they're forcing you to wear hair extensions. And it's not just hairstyles that come under attack in Kenyan identity struggles. Global commercial interests also dictate what is beautiful and what is smart. A few years ago, there was a TV advert for a laundry detergent which asked viewers to leave traditional African wear for the weekend. This was in reference to a man in the advert who had washed his formal clothes using a competitor brand which made them look bad and African. The suggestion, therefore, was that if it's African, it's bad and it should be restricted to weekends. But the tide is turning. The heightened discussion on hair in Kenya is possibly a continual and symbol of growing culture, consciousness, and questioning among Black people, as evidenced in the recent rise of African music, film, and entrepreneurship. It's an example of the many spheres where oppression and colonization of the mind took place. Oh, you know, I can't even finish this article. It's just sad. But just go read for yourselves. It's BBC. This happened last month. Letter from Africa. Fighting uniform hairstyles in Kenya. 30th March 2019. It's just so sad, people. What can I say? It's sad. We have to change. Colonization happened, but now let's go back. Let's go back. Let's love our hair. Let's love ourselves. Let's love our traditions. Let's love our African dressing. Let's love our communities. Let's embrace each other. And honestly, I couldn't braid my hair while watching that, so I'm gonna continue braiding it, and then I'll show you how it looks when I'm almost done. But it's just, we have to embrace our hair. We have to embrace our hair. We have to embrace our hair. Hi guys, this is the finished look. I finished working on the braids. It took me about the whole day, let's say 6 hours. So I was basically just listening to some audiobooks and working on this, and so I'm done. And yeah, so that's the finished look, and I hope I can rock this for a few weeks. And so I hope you try it as well. I hope you know, get someone to braid your hair, or braid it, or just try this. It's really nice. It feels good to just have your hair in braids, you know. It's part of our culture as well, you know. We've been braiding hair for, you know, for so long, for like thousands of years. You know, like the Maasai men are still, you know, braiding it, and you know, a lot of our culture has to do with braiding of our hair, and it's something that we should embrace. We have to fight. We have to fight to be ourselves. And being ourselves, our hair is part of who we are. How we choose to keep our hair and groom our hair is part of our culture, it's part of our identity. And no one should tell us that we should embrace a certain way of keeping our hair, which has nothing to do with who we are. So if I want to keep my hair in twist, in braids, in cornrows, in a weave, in a perm, in a afro, however I wish to style my hair is my business. It shouldn't be something that is hindered, that is taken away from me. It's part of who I am. It's part of my culture, my identity. So for all those who are trying to tell Kenyan women and girls how to style their hair, then you need to do a history lesson on the history of African hair and how far we've come for thousands of years. And it's really disheartening. It's really painful to just see people telling grown women how to style their hair. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, we're in the 21st century. We should not be playing these games. We should not be telling people how to style their hair. And just reading these articles just made me realize that this is a fight we have to fight. And I was talking to this guy the other day, and he kept telling me, oh, you know, my hair is too hard, my hair is too hard. And I was like, why do you think like that? Why do you think that your hair is hard? Yes, you have African hair, you're an African man. Like, stop saying that your hair is too hard. Like, what should your hair be? Be proud that it's hard, you know, be proud that your hair is hard and strong and firm, you know. Be proud of that your hair is beautiful and it can make all these styles, and you can put an afro on it, and you can do whatever you want with it, you know. Embrace those tight coils and curls on your hair, you know. So I spoke to him. I told him, love it, embrace your blackness, and your hair is part of your identity. It's beautiful, you know. And so we had that discussion, and it was something, because for the most, I always thought it's just women who feel that having a fro or having the hair in, you know, just as an afro, I thought it was mostly women who went through that. But men as well feel the pressure to make it a bit softer or straighter, or, you know, conform to this standard that doesn't work for us as a people. We need to start loving ourselves, loving each other, embracing our identity as a people. So I just hope that, you know, we can just start to love ourselves and love each other and support each other in everything that we do. Because if as I said, you know, you'll see a Chinatown, you'll see Indian restaurants across the US, across the UK, you'll see that unity in cultures, you know, you'll see them coming together and doing stuff together and supporting each other. But for the most part, the divide and rule that happened to us during slavery and colonization seems to have left a lot of negative remnants a lot of it is still with us, is still in us, and we need to detox it out of us, out of our systems. We need to come together, support each other, stand with each other, you know, not just through protests when one of us is caught by the police, or one of us is, you know, caught doing ABCD, and then we all, you know, rally and protest. That's just one of the things that we do to support each other. But in terms of industry, in terms of businesses, for example, when one of us opens a business, we need to rally behind each other and say, yes, you know, we need to uplift ourselves economically. And we need an African town. There's Chinatown, there's, you know, Indian restaurants in so many places, but I need to go to a restaurant and it says Africa, it says African town. I need to go to a place and they show all our beautiful culture and our heritage and our braids and our hair, and we need to support each other and love each other through this. So this is the finished look, and I hope you enjoyed the show. And as always, love your hair, embrace your features, love your African self. Let's love each other, and until next time, it's been your girl Wanjeri on African Crown.